Hi, and welcome to Tech Venture. So today we're back with the Fold3 5G. But I want to start off by saying, so this one is a little bit of an upgrade from the Fold 2 5G. But the only things that they say they've done better is the cameras. So you have the cameras there. The bump obviously got smaller. The screen in the front is better, as well as an under display camera. And then they made it lighter and thinner and rounder. And that's the main things they kind of like say on their website that they've gotten better. But here today, we're going to be talking about how it is to live with it, the bad things and the good things that you will see when you do use this. Now, the first bad thing I do want to talk about is the price of it it's a little bit cheaper than the 2, or when the 2 first came out. So it's at $18.99 if you get the 512, and then $17.99 if you get the 256, which I would say it's a little bit more affordable than the previous one. And since you do get 2 screens, like 2 cameras and then 3 on the back, 2 selfie cameras and 3 on the back, I guess the price is somewhat justified, but still, I mean, do you want to spend $1,800 or $1,700 on a phone that you might not use as much? That's up to you. Now, another thing that is about the under display camera, actually. So when you take photos of the with the under display camera, I don't know if you've seen other videos, but it actually like removes the fog. Now there is a fog since it is under the display, but it does try to remove the fog as best as it can. And if you have no lights behind you, so like if there's no like light above you or behind you that the camera sees, it does it actually pretty well, and the camera isn't too bad. But if there is, that's when it will actually show. Even when it tries to remove that fog, it's pretty bad. And I feel like it's worse in person than it is when you see it on videos and stuff. But I did notice that. Now, another thing about the display, not the interior one actually, just the exterior one. So when you, it locked. So when you're actually texting on this exterior screen there, you see the text are really, or the keyboard is really, really small. So if you have thick fingers, it will be kind of annoying, and it's still a hassle. That didn't change from the 2. I know I mentioned that with the 2, but it is still an issue here. But most of the time, you won't even find yourself using this if you bought this phone for the reason you bought it for. Now, there is another feature where it mirrors the front screen with the outside screen, or the front screen with the interior screen. So if you like go to settings, and then you can search the mirror, and it's called cover screen mirroring. So if you turn that on, it's supposed to show whatever apps you have on your main screen, and then it mimics it on the interior screen. Now, I found out if you do turn that on, and then you apply it, and then you open up the screen, since that is just 1/2, it will only mirror 1/2, and you have to fill in the blanks on this side. So I mean, it is cool. Once you fill the one on this side, it will be done, and you don't have to worry about it again. But kind of negates the fact that you can mirror it if you still have to edit this one, because the only reason to do it is so you won't have to edit the interior screen. But you know, that's just a software issue. It could probably be fixed later on. And that was Samsung Pay, which is actually something that's really cool about this phone. And now another thing is the speakers got better from the Fold 2. But I will say it still has that issue that I mentioned in the old video, where if you have it on full blast, it's very crunchy, and it doesn't sound as, nice and, clear. Like the voices aren't the best. But once you go a little bit lower than full volume, it does get better. And I would say it's kind of like speakers you would kind of want on a tablet or a big device like this. I mean, it's not the biggest device, but I mean, for something this size. And then also, so using this with one hand is kind of not a thing you can do. Now, you see me using it with one hand right now while I'm talking, but trust me, you won't be able to actually type or do anything like that. Now, you can like touch something that's really close, but you can't also close it. So you cannot, for the life of you, unless you like pushed up here, which is probably dangerous to do, as well as opening it. You can definitely unless you had a table or something, it's gonna be hard to do it with one hand. I found this out actually while eating, so this is not a phone to eat and use. Definitely don't do that, especially if you try and use your fingernails or your finger to pry that open and you scratch the interior screen. That's not gonna be fun, or it's not gonna be fun to find someone to repair it, because I guarantee you won't find anyone right now. But I do want to talk about something with the software, not the phone's fault. And so Samsung fixed an issue where some apps weren't working very well on the interior screen, where they wouldn't be full screen. And you can actually go into the settings and choose which app you want to be full screen or not. For some reason, Instagram doesn't let you do that, but that's okay. Instagram's just built different. But yeah, you can actually make it full screen even if the developer didn't do it. Now it still has the issue where if you close it and open it, you do have to reopen the app, or if you want to open it on the exterior screen after you've opened it on the interior screen, then you do have to close it and reopen it. Now, there is a thing you could do that as well. Go into settings again, and then you can launch the app to where if you close it, it continues it on here. That way you don't have to close it and reopen it, because it does that for you. So that's also something that's kind of software related that was, kind of fixed. Now moving on to the good stuff, the stuff that you would want to buy this for. And the first thing is, it is much lighter. So if you've ever held the Fold3, the first thing you'll notice is obviously the camera bump on the back is much bigger on the 2. This one is a lot smaller, as well as the body is thinner. They made this gap right here also smaller, not thinner, smaller. So it is a lot lighter, which is amazing, because when you are holding it, you can feel the difference, as well as because of the curvature and making this smaller. I know with the other one, I did hate how you'd hold it like this, you'd feel one thing, and then you'd hold it like this and it'd be another thing. Now that is still true here, but the only thing is it feels much better because they rounded it out more, as well as it feels lighter, so it's not going to be too bad. And then also, so my favorite thing about using this phone was actually that you have Face ID. Now, it's not as good as the iPhone's Face ID, but you do get Face ID, or face recognition, I guess, in this case. And then you also get your fingerprint. So you have fingerprint and Face ID, and whichever one you want to use, as well as you get the option of a, instead of a code, you can actually do a, like, kind of, I guess you can call it a drawing, or a pattern is what it's actually called. And then you can do whatever pattern you want, like an L, or, whichever one you want, which I did really like as well. And then, so moving on to the interior screen is the camera that's under the display. Now, I did mention that it was a bad thing because it's blurry, but let me show you here. If I get a white screen, where did YouTube go? I know, there it is. All right. So if you go into YouTube or something with a white screen, you can see it right there. It's not completely hidden, I'm not going to lie. But if you are watching something and you are ignoring it or not really like realizing it there, you won't actually notice it as much. If you're looking for it though, as you can see, that area is pixelated, and I mean, they can only do so much. This is still fairly new. So I think it's pretty cool, and now that you have a full screen, it kind of makes it more of that kind of like tablet feel. Now moving on to the screen. Now, obviously, one of the big perks of having this phone, you get 2 screens, one on the inside, one on the outside. Now you might say the outside one isn't as useful, but you can still use it for those quick things. So, I mean, at least they give it to you. Another thing is the speakers did get better, as I mentioned in the first video, but all you have to do is just keep it away from full volume. So we're not gonna continue talking about that too long. Now the camera on the back, it actually got better. Obviously, like I also said, the camera bump changed, and that is something I really liked as well, because it didn't protrude that much, as well as it looks much nicer now. Fits in your pocket well. It doesn't like bump or like catch on things, or when you leave it on the table, it doesn't wiggle as much. But yeah, the camera did get better. You still get the 3 cameras, the regular one, the wide angle, and the telephoto. But they did get much better in quality. Now, I don't know if they fixed the issue where if you take a picture on the exterior screen and then take a picture on the interior screen, if it's like it looks weird, because the whole time I just had it on the same ratio. That's how you fixed it on the 2. So I just kept it on this one just in case. But yeah, and then another thing, it's water resistant. That is freaking crazy. Water resistant on a folding phone. I never thought the day would come. No, I did talk about how the 2 was not water resistant. I did not expect them to just right away on the next phone to do it. So that's actually crazy. And speaking of that, I actually used it while I was washing the dishes once and accidentally splashed water on it. And trust me, I was not worried because, like I said, it's water freaking resistant, which is amazing. Now, I did also talk about the feel of it and how thin it is now, so I'm not going to get into too much in depth of that as well. But just know that is also something I noticed that's really good, is it did get lighter and better to use with like the feel of it. Now, also, you get the big screen, so it is actually really good on watching videos. Now, it's not going to be full screen on some YouTube videos. Now, also for a phone that has 2 screens and like 5 cameras, I actually never had an issue with it overheating. Like, even like watching videos, playing a game on there for a couple hours or something like that. I never had an issue with it like heating up or like feeling like it's too hot or anything like that. Now, it also could be because since it has like 2 separate parts, they could have, you know, put it somewhere where it won't feel through like the metal and the glass and stuff like that. That could be it, but I just never felt it, and I like that, appreciated it. Now, I'm not saying it won't get hot if you're like outside in the sun and you're like fully using it completely, but when I was like inside or anything like that, I never had issues with it like heating up or anything like that. Now, another thing, I don't know if you guys remember, so if you've ever used a old phone that had like a screen on the exterior, and then when you opened it up, you had a keyboard. So this actually kind of reminded me. So let's say like you're texting someone, and then you open it up like this and half fold it. That way you have all your text messages right here, the people you are texting, and then your keyboard down here. You can actually start typing like that. So like say, hi, how are you? There you go. And it's like that phones, I think they called them like the keyboard phones or the flip keyboard phones. I don't know exactly their names, but that reminded me of it, and I kind of really liked it. It was a gimmick. I didn't really always use it like this, obviously, because you don't want to always have it folded like this and then using it on this screen. You mostly want to use that for videos. But that is another thing that is really cool about it, is because it can fold like this, you can actually orient it in different ways that normal phones can't. Like, for example, like that, or you know, actually that you can type like a laptop. Oh, there you go. That's something as well. Instead of that phone, there's another thing, a laptop, which is really cool. Now, it does have reverse wireless charging on the back, as well as regular wireless charging. So you can turn on reverse wireless charging. You just swipe down on notifications, you put it down, it will give you that beep, and then you just slap whatever headphones, Galaxy Buds, AirPods if you're into that, or another phone, and then you can charge your phone there as well. Now, it's kind of on Android, not this, but I'm still going to give it to it because I do like it and I did enjoy it. So when you're typing on most Android phones, there's a vibrate option, and this one does have it as well. So I actually really like that. I don't know why. It's like a taptic feedback, and I kind of like when there's like feedback given to me, even when there's no sound. Like right now I have the clicks on, but that's because it's not on vibrate. And if you do put it on vibrate, where it only vibrates and not make sound, then it will just vibrate the phone when you're texting, which I really did enjoy that, and I'm gonna miss that if I do have to go to that 13. But yeah, that is something I really enjoyed. Now, something that's really satisfying is talking on something that's this small. So yes, that screen is very bad for texting, but surprisingly, when you're like calling and you're holding it, because of how thin it is, it's kind of satisfying. So like usually when you're talking on the phone nowadays, you're holding this big bulky thing and you have it to your ear and you're just like holding it like this, and it's like almost like a tablet or an iPad. But with this one, you don't have that because it's really narrow. So when you have it against your ear, you can hold it really well, get that grip on it. Here's what it looks like. But yeah, I did really like it. Now the battery life on this thing is ridiculous. Yes, it has 2 screens, 5 cameras. Said that a couple of times during this video, but you like you will probably get through the whole day by the time, even if you heavy use it. I was watching videos and playing games all day one time, and by the end of the day it was like at 36%, which is not bad. And if you don't use it too much and you just use it for like texting, calling, maybe a couple videos, like right now it is at 71%, and I would say I've had like 4 hours of on-screen time, maybe 3.5. Now, the way you can take a screenshot is obviously you use the buttons, or my favorite feature is if you actually swipe your palm, not like this, even though it says swipe your palm across the screen would make you think to do this, but no, you actually swipe it like this. So you put your palm at the beginning and you swipe like that. Now, of course, when I'm trying to show you, it doesn't work, but you just do this, and then it will. It's sometimes it's a little bit better on the main screen, but I'll show you here. Please work. There it is, and it will take a screenshot. It also works on the exterior screen as well. I'll show you here. If it doesn't pull up Samsung Pay, there it is. You just swipe. Again, it's because I'm trying to show it. There we go, and it will do it. That I thought was really cool. Now, bring me to screenshots or something within that lines. Now, you might hate on this phone because, you know, it might not have a lot of uses, or for most people it won't have a lot of uses. But I do really like how they still decided to add that interior selfie camera. So technically you get 2 selfie cameras and then 3 exterior cameras. So that's something, you know, you don't get really on most phones. So that's something you got to give it the benefit of the doubt for. And then as well as the flashlight. So obviously all phones have flashlight, but something really cool I found out about this flashlight is if you have it turned on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. You can actually orient it in different ways. So let's say you're working on your car, or let's say you are, you know, doing something outside, it's dark, or even inside and it's dark. You don't want to wake up someone, but you don't want to hold it either. You just set it like this. Get your flashlight, you know, it's being held, do your thing, finish with your thing. You want a different orientation, hold it like that, boom. Now, most phones obviously don't fold, so you can't actually have it like this. You can, I mean, if you can get creative if you want to, but I found that really cool. You know, it's a phone that can hold itself up depending on how you use it, and then you can add that to the flashlight. Now, you can obviously use this as like for the cameras too. So like, for example, you want to take a picture of your buddies, set it up like that, start, run, get in the thing, and it will take the picture. Also, same way like this, and that way. Now, with the other video, or with the Samsung Fold 2, I was trying to tell you guys it's really hard to take a selfie with it like this. Well, what I wasn't thinking of, and that was my bad, you could just do that, and then take a selfie. Or, not the selfie, but the picture. But yeah, now, that is all the things I have noticed with it, good and bad things. Now, would I recommend this phone? I'm gonna say yes if you are very big on watching videos, making phone calls, and texting. That's your main thing that you use your phone for. This is the phone for you. But for most people, I guarantee you're not gonna be really using the interior screen as much as if you just had a regular phone with a bigger screen on the exterior. Or I guess to it wouldn't be exterior, it would just be the screen for it. So I would only recommend it if that is either your job is to watch videos and take phone calls, or that is basically what you do with your phone is watch videos and take phone calls and text messages. This is the phone for you. Other than that, I would not recommend it, especially still with the price. Yes, it got cheaper, but yeah. But thank you guys for watching. You have a great day or night whenever you're watching this.